very adept at collecting money from people, if you'd like to come talk to him about that. He's well known for his photography. I know he entered an environmental photo contest. I had a different memory. I thought he went farther along in it than I think you were remembering. He designed the pin for the Local District 19 for the 2011 International Convention. Very creative person. He's married with 3 sons. Fortunately, they all live in the Northwest, so he has access to those. I first got to know Ed on a more than just casual basis a few years ago when past Council Chairman Hal Palmer and a few others invited Ed and I to join him at a Local District 19 leper retreat. We were told before we went in that it was kind of just to help them out in a group. We found out when we got there they were trying to twist our arms to take that position for a 3-year term. I think we were both smart enough to move in other directions at that time. But, Lion Ed is retired Army. He's a Vietnam vet, so he's very well versed to be talking to us today about a new project that they've put together by the Lions up in 19C that's now a multiple district project. He brought support today. His wife Irene, his better half, is over there, along with George and Claudia Dierking. Did I get that right? They're members of the Poulsbo Lions and they're board members of Project New Hope. Project New Hope, as you'll hear, is a project to assist our returning veterans to cope with life after they come back. So please give a warm Lions welcome to Lion Ed Kane.
You already have me a little off balance. Number one, because of the size of the club. Number two, because the first question I generally ask at a Lions meeting like this is how many Vietnam veterans we have. But I see in this club you're all way too young to have been in Vietnam. I'm a Vietnam veteran because I joined up when I was 11.
Were you going to sit?
So how many Vietnam vets do we have here?
I didn't go there.
So, and I asked specifically about Vietnam, but I'm sure there are some veterans here from just about every war. We've had Korea, and that's what our program is all about. But for those that came home from Vietnam, we all remember what our reception was like. And that's why we have Project New Hope, so no veteran will ever get that kind of embarrassing reception again. And so I'll go ahead and get the program started. Normally I would hand operate this PowerPoint presentation, but the clubs normally give me 10 minutes to speak, and 25 minutes later they're asking me to stop speaking. So I now have a program that's self-running and it has narration on it. And this is the first club that I've used this narrated program for, so we may run into a glitch or two, but eventually we'll get it running. And then after the program, which is only about 8 minutes long, I'll take some questions. I won't have any answers, but you're free to ask.
Lions Project New Hope Northwest. The program was initiated in Washington State in 2010 when Lions Joe Graves of the Lacey Midday Lions Club learned of the original project in Minnesota. With the sponsorship of Multiple District 19, we are now launching our 3rd year of retreat. Our mission is to provide assistance to combat veterans experiencing stress issues, reintegrating into their family and community environments. Project New Hope's approach is to provide opportunities and tools for combat veterans and their families to identify and address issues preventing them from resuming normal relations. We achieve these objectives through a series of workshops conducted in weekend retreats. To maximize our efforts, the retreats are conducted at a peaceful remote camp set on the banks of Elbow Lake in Thurston County. The facilities are exceptionally well managed and maintained, and on arrival, the attendees are immediately impressed. The process of relaxation and trust has already begun. The weekend will be replete with motel-style rooms, superb meals, cozy workshop facilities, and ample leisure and recreational activities to ensure a positive experience for the entire family. The workshops provide a quality environment with experienced leaders and licensed counselors presenting a variety of specific issue-based solution-seeking sessions. We provide guidance to those experiencing the stress of having served in a combat zone and are having difficulty transitioning to or resuming life in a family and community environment, and assist a partner that had to cope with the stress of a loved one being in harm's way, as well as assuming the full responsibilities of a home left without a critical member, and emphasize the importance of a healthy home environment and the need for loving role models for the children. Workshop leaders provide tools to develop paths towards resolution of issues. And counselors reach out to those struggling to reintegrate into family and community environments. Group sessions arm attendees with methods for identifying, analyzing, and approaching the problems standing in the way of a full and rewarding relationship. In the end, we hope to encourage participants to engage in constructive discussions about their issues and progress towards resolution. Whether single veterans, married couples, or a partner whose spouse is currently serving in harm's way, Project New Hope will offer alternatives for dealing with stress. During family retreats, while parents attend workshops, Lions volunteers provide safe, active environments for the children. Constructive, educational, and supervised activities occupy the children's time. And making new friends provides exciting and fun memories of the retreat. Lunch break is a time for family members to get together and join staff members for informal conversations. Then, on Saturday afternoon, it's family fun time. There is a variety of challenging recreational options. Games for kids, horseback riding for all but the youngest toddlers, a muddy Rubicon trail, zip line challenges, fishing, canoeing, and more. Nobody goes home without experiencing a new recreational activity. In summary, what does Project New Hope do for the vets and their families? We provide a cost-free, stress-free weekend in beautiful remote locations. We hold groups to a size small enough that interaction is more likely. Within reason, we enable attendees to customize some of the sessions to address their needs. More importantly, we help attendees discover effective communication skills and coping mechanisms. We make individual counseling available 24/7 throughout the retreat. We make ample family activity time for strengthening bonds, and we encourage attendees to connect with others for the purpose of network building. How do we support this program? At about $5,000 per weekend, we must reach out for support in a variety of ways. Through Lions Club donations on an annual basis. The goal is to have each club commit to $250 per year. By securing grants from corporations and other socially conscious organizations and sales of branded products such as t-shirts, pens, collector coins, etc. How can you help? Volunteers are needed for the clubs as well as the public in general. We need a variety of talent to help in the background and during retreats. Individuals to care for the children must have a background check performed. We have an urgent need for licensed counselors with experience in PTSD, family counseling, stress and anger management, and veterans benefits. Project New Hope Northwest has developed a recognition program for clubs donating funds. The patches are 5 inches in diameter and designed to be applied to club banners. The Founders Patch is available for an annual donation of $500 or more, and the Standard Patch for an annual donation of $250. A stark illustration that demonstrates the need for programs like Project New Hope is from government statistics that now put the number of veteran suicides at 22 per day. Our greatest reward is the overwhelmingly positive response we received from the vets and their families. Please visit our website for more information or to sign up as a volunteer. www.projectnewhopenorthwest. We all appreciate your interest and support for Lions Project New Hope Northwest. Thank you for inviting us to make this presentation.
Copies of the patches that the slideshow talked about. Anybody would like to come up and look at them, they'll be right up here on the table. Or you can look at his pictures later on. So do I have any questions from anybody about Project New Hope?
When is the next retreat weekend?
We have,
Is it a weekend or a whole week?
no, the first retreat this year will be in July. And generally they start, the attendees begin showing up about 2 or 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. And the retreat is over at noon on Sunday.
Yeah, I've heard some of the stories, but a lot of the other Lions have not. But could you touch on some of the success stories that you've come across?
Can I answer that question? In front of you, there is a pamphlet called The Veteran's Life, and in the back inside cover is a story about a veteran, Kevin McMahon, who has gone through our program, and in fact, he's gone through it a couple of times, and he has become an arch advocate of our program. So there's a nice life story right there for you. And if you don't have one, you need one, we have some more copies up here.
Yeah, we have, at the end of each retreat, we ask anybody that's willing to talk to us on camera about their experience at the retreat. And in all the retreats we've held so far, I think there was only 2 families. One because he had such a high security clearance in the military that he didn't want his face shown. And another one that was still a little shy about being on camera. A lot of that we're overcoming now. A lot of that was because there was a real stigma that dates back to every war. And I remember in the Vietnam War, my uncles and everything in the Second World War, and there were a lot of names for people that just couldn't handle the stress of battle anymore. And we're understanding now that that was not cowardice, that was just, their brains just got beat to a pulp, and they just couldn't handle it anymore. Any other questions?
How many retreats have you had, and about how many folks have gone through the process?
This will be our third year of retreats, and we generally have 3 retreats a year. We're still, one of the problems we still have is attracting enough people to come to the retreats. And probably not so ironic, a lot of those that do come to the retreats are not because the GI or the veteran signed up for it, but because the wife found out about it and she signed up for it and dragged them down here. But we started in 2011. This will be our third year, 3 retreats a year, so we've got 6 under our belt right now. Generally, in the past, we've had our first retreat in June, but that's been the most difficult retreat to fill with veterans, and we haven't figured out why, but we think it's because of all of the activities in June, school graduations, people going on vacation, so we think that was just a difficult month for people to find time. But we're beginning to fill up pretty quick.
I'm kind of curious. It mentioned that there were 22 homicides. I'm not homicide, but suicides. Where do you get that reference? Because I didn't see the reference mentioned. And how did they come up with that kind of figure? Is it just from veterans hospitals, or where are they coming up with these figures?
We work closely with the Veterans Administration in Olympia, and that number was fresh from the Veterans Administration about...
Washington State, sorry to interrupt. This is only Washington State. 22 every day.
22 every day throughout the country.
Across the nation. Wow.
But that number is directly from Veterans Administration. And just for information, we don't just treat Vietnam vets or our current veterans coming home. We treat veterans from any war, serving in any military service, including the Canadian veterans that helped us out in our wars. So we serve anybody from any war, any service.
Hey, Jim, you ought to sign up.
I was thinking about you, George, and the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, we'll take anybody from anywhere, but this is not the only program. There are about 5 active programs right now. Massachusetts and New York are a couple of them. The original program was in Minnesota, and I believe there's one pretty active in Texas at least. So there are several programs. They're all Lions programs.
Hey,
Okay.
Jim.
Well,
you
thank
can
you very
sign
much
up.
for having me.